Ms. Lawrence, staff ready? Good evening. It's my pleasure to call this October 11th Dayton Town Council meeting to order at 6:00 p.m. I'd like to remind everyone there's a sign-up sheet at the entrance for those who are interested in speaking tonight. Each speaker will be limited to 5 minutes. Pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3708.2 and the town's resolution authorizing electronic participation in town meetings, Ms. Hoover is joining via Zoom tonight from her home due to medical reasons. That roll call, please, Ms. Hall.
Here.
Present. Please join in prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to meet this evening. We ask for your protection for our children, educators, first responders, and military. We pray for the people of Ukraine and ask that you comfort, protect them. We pray for the compassion, strength, and wisdom to guide local, federal, and world leaders. We ask this in your name. Amen. Join me for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty. Ms. Hall. So before we get started with tonight's business, I'd like to briefly talk about Dayton Days. Town events are opportunities for visitors to see what a special place Dayton is. It gives staff, council members, businesses, and residents a chance to be ambassadors for a town, to get people to see, for people to see what the town has to offer. There's always opportunities for improvement as we have large events, as we always do after an event. We have conversations with staff and committee members to see what we could do differently or what we can do better. We've had situations where somebody wanted to talk about placements of their spots. We've had a person that's interested in talking about the refund policy. We will all talk about these things after the council. I'm sorry, not directly after it, in our committee and staff meetings. Hi. All right, so every vendor that I talked to was ecstatic with what they had. Their sales were good, the weather was good, they were happy to be in Dayton, certainly much happier than they would have been the previous week. They were more than happy to let us know how efficient things operated for them. And were more than willing to share deficiencies in other events they had been to recently. We had a total of 192 vendors who showed up from 4 states, Virginia, Maryland, West Virginia, and Pennsylvania. I can't say enough for Maggie Roche and Leah for all that it took them to organize, plan, and participate in the event, as well as Public Works, our water treatment, our staff, the police department, visiting police departments, rescue squads. I mean, everybody had a part, and citizens who volunteered, council members who volunteered. These events can't happen without the support from not just staff members, but the community as well. So thank everybody for that. All right, I need a motion to approve the minutes for the regular council meeting, September 12th, 2022. Mr. Seward, second. Thank you, Ms. Mathias. Roll call, please, Ms. Hall.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. All right, now we have for action items, we have an appointment. I'd like to thank Colby Miller, who has been on the BZA. He's going to be leaving town, so we have to appoint somebody to fulfill that obligation. So I need a motion to recommend.
Can I add to the staff report? I'm
You
sorry. There's a couple bullets missing. Mr. Miller did resign. We did advertise on the website and sent an email alert out through our website system. If you're not on and you want to know what's going on in town, get on, subscribe to our alerts. In August, there was a deadline published of September 30th. We received one application by the deadline period. I did get a call after the fact, but we had one application by the deadline period. So thank you.
Thank
Sorry.
you. I need a motion to recommend to the Circuit Court of Rockingham County that Sam Lee be appointed to the Town of Dayton Board of Zoning Appeals for a term to expire June 30th, 2027. So moved, Ms. Estes, second, Mr. Seward. Roll call, please, Ms. Hall.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. All right, we now hear from persons who have signed up. There'll be a 5-minute time period. Start with Graham Witt, who's with Dayton Days and Open Doors. If you could just come up. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. I face you.
That you face them either way.
Yeah.
Certainly.
I'm here as a representative with a couple of different hats. I represent Open Doors, local home shelter. But I'm also used to be the youth pastor at Dayton. I'm at the church. And currently still there as a mission coordinator. So I'll be managing the temporary thermal shelter for the homeless public. I don't want to take this 5 minutes to give you everything I know about it, but I want to give you a little bit of history, what we do, and then I want to answer any questions that the city of citizens might have, so to put you at ease, knowing that we've been doing this. But again, we started in 2007. I started in the basement of Otterbein, Tennessee. Because one winter we had someone with thermal injuries that went to the hospital and basically decided to no longer. So since 2007, we've been doing a rotating thermal homeless shelter based community. We run from the beginning of November to the beginning of April. And we typically stay 1 week or 2 weeks to basically back up. One of the stats that I calculated up that we have done in the last 15 years, so you know the good that we are doing. We've provided more than 2,500 nights of shelter. We provided over 7,000 health screenings, served over 150,000 meals. 150,000 by 25,000 different volunteers. We've been hosted by more than 2 dozen churches. JMU has hosted us twice. Very recently, we were in the bed. We survived once in a lifetime pandemic. And of course, there's not enough thank yous to go around for the communities that allow us to come into their areas. That's what we do as a homeless shelter. And of course, we are planning on being at Dayton Methodist Church November 7th, leaving on November 23rd. Yes, we'll be arriving at about 6:30 each week. They'll be leaving at about 7 in the morning. Then they will go to Mountainetta Springs the next week. That's the big overall picture. I know that with our population comes certain reservations. And that's not insensitive reality. I am here to answer any questions you might have. That what is it that we do? How do we handle certain things? And not just put you at ease, but to educate if there is a question. Yes, ma'am. Well, correct. That is an easy thing to do. Yes, we have. 100%, we'll do that. So, and that is one of the difficulties, to be honest with you, when we are out in the county, transportation, the buses do not come. We are currently working with the city has said that they cannot do it. One thing they promised in public, bring them on the bus. They couldn't, they couldn't live up to that. But we're working with JMU and we're also working with other local. Actually, working with Quicks, the bus company. We don't know what they're going to have for us, but minimally, in the past, what we have done is we've taken the bus to Dayton UMC, Bridgewater UMC, and nothing at a spring, then the train station. Of course, the police are always, our local police are always notified in advance. If there are issues, yes, there tend to be more EMT calls. There to be some disturbance calls, but they're typically on our site. Want you guys ask me the question. You cannot offend me with a question. Trust me, I've heard it all get through. Absolutely. Food drive can benefit our population, but also our local food banks. So, yeah, 40 seconds. Well, 40 seconds, I do want to say how great Dayton is. As the ex-youth pastor, we still support their soup. I thought they did a marvelous job. Did you?
Yes, sir.
Switching that from one week to the other. Mayor. Any other questions about open doors? And if you want to ask them, if you want to catch me in private, if you have any specific concerns, my difficulty expressing. We've seen it all in 15 years, and we've managed it very well. Thank you.
55 down.
We're supposed to address the council.
Yep, and as you speak, I apologize. The speaker needs to actually look at council and address council. That's my fault. Gene Halverson. Yes.
Can you, there's people on Zoom, so if you could talk into the microphone, they could hear you as well.
So, good evening, Mayor Jackson, Town Council. My name is Jean Hallweisen. I'm owner and sole proprietor of Nanny's. I have been open for 15 years, with the last 10 of those years on Main Street in downtown Dayton. On September 20th, 2022, I received an email from the town manager regarding Dayton Days, which I would like to address tonight. I will read and address each item listed. Stated from the town manager, we have received some negative feedback, concerns from past year's vendors and others. I want to reiterate to you that you may not, in capital letters, have any vendors outside of your shop during Dayton Days. I have been operating my business on Main Street in the town of Dayton for the last 10 years and have never had a vendor outside of my shop. If there is negative feedback and concerns from others, why hasn't this been shared with me? Shouldn't complaints, grievances, and concerns be presented at council and documented? No one has ever approached me with negative feedback. I have let vendors use my electric bathroom and have developed friendships over the years. And I'm excited to see the vendors that return every year. This is really their day, even though it's a bonus for the merchants. But they work hard and prep for this, and it is a chore to move product from town to town and set it up. I always hope they will have good sales and that it will be worth their while to set up for Dayton Days. I can't understand why there would be negative feedback and concerns towards me and my business during Dayton Days. Statement manager from the manager, you underlined, they sell what you normally sell at your business only. Displaying and selling only those items outside as well as inside your shop. What else am I selling? Idea what I fully sell in my shop. I have an extension of my shop who can sign with me and has partnered with me for over 3 years and displays products at my shop all year round. She changes items out at least once a month. On festival days, because my shop is so small, we move almost all of her products outside to help with the flow. Stay afloat. She is one of the most caring, honest, and kindest persons I have ever known. And this through your sales system and counted towards your gross sales submitted annually to the town. I didn't know there was any other way to do business. All sales are processed through my business and carefully logged and reported, not only to Rockingham County, but the state of Virginia. And it has been that way since I opened my business 15 years ago. Statement from town manager, excuse me. Only vendors that have paid a festival fee and given a vendor parking pass and space along the festival route will be allowed to sell. If we see anyone selling outside your business, they will be sent home. During these festivals, it is all hands on deck for me. It takes a village to help me process sales and keep an eye, on customers and just, products in general. My space is small, so to help with the flow of traffic, again, we move all of my partners' products outside and as much of my items as I can with signs that state there is more selection inside of the shop. My husband, shop partners, friends, family, all write tickets, help take money, both inside and outside of my shop. I couldn't do this without them. Absolutely no. Festival rules that have not
45 seconds. Okay,
You are absolutely correct. It is not fair for others to set up and sell if they have not paid a fee, and I would never understands and follows rules and vendors and all who visit the town. I pay my annual fee for a business license. I work outside of my shop to help pay for fees, etc., and put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into keeping my business afloat. Why would I give someone else an opportunity to sell my business without having them to do the same? I have worked way too hard to destroy what I have established. Town manager, we must also keep the sidewalk open for pedestrian safety. My shop sits 10 feet from the sidewalk. In no way would I ever want a person to be injured during a festival, a visit to my shop, or a visit to the town, ever. My property runs to the sidewalk, which includes an asphalt drive. That asphalt drive is my property, which is for my customers and not just on me. And
Thank you, ma'am. I just cleared, I apologize, I just cleared the timer, so I do not know how much time was left. I can't do that, sir. I'll do mine. Okay, but we need to go to Deb Crank first. And this is a comment section, this is not applause. Ms. Crank?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Deb Crank, not negative Sandy. I live at 363 College Street, Dayton. Thank you all for amazing Dayton dates, DAZE. Other requests implemented over the past year. Video, sidewalk improvements, the Cheese Place sign approval, landscaping and street marker, street sweeping increase, just the name of. This supports collaboration. We are growing in vibrant relationship among citizens, merchants, and the government. Trust can be increased once the collaboration is realized. I'm about to say, it's directed to town council. As a group, you employ staff and ultimately responsible direct staff accordingly. The decision made or intimidating details are long-standing, get along with everyone. Pillar of all the stuff we grew up with. Merchant was not an example of a relationship growing through on your part. And then to direct a uniformed police officer to scope the place out of injustice that I just can't believe. Talk about me being woke and triggered. I was like, there's no way this happened. I was in a parallel universe. There wasn't a face-to-face meeting, discussion first, and then follow up with a meeting. This could be perceived no less than bullying. Why would you all support and direct these actions? Many months ago, it was shared with me secondhand that if myself or anyone said anything about paid staff, we would be sued for libel. I don't speak lies or falsehoods. I care about people in this town, whether they care about me and they want to call me negative Nanny, whatever. So when I was asked to sit down and the person who asked me with paid staff, I declined. And then when I was asked to only speak with paid staff and not you all, again, what I say is public comment and concerns for all of you to hear. I don't play games. I'm not good at playing games. You can tell. I like to sit on the sofa. I also refuse attempts from the DNR. They made multiple attempts to talk to me, to go on the record. No, I talk to you. You all know from my heart, my thoughts. Somebody even said on Dayton days, I'm very memorable sitting up here in front of me. We have two-way communication for the past year. You all know, unless it's the weather or out of town, I'm under the weather, out of town. I'm here listening and supporting our town. After you take in all the public comments tonight, please consider this. Are we ready to apply for a grant that's supposed to be improving our downtown when there is mistrust and unrest with our merchants? And lastly, this is a rumor, I apologize. Please consider refunding the young lady, I think she's like 12 years old, that was set up in front of the real estate office. Had a little table with like 6 things on it. Please refund her money and give her a warning. I'm guessing the person who set her up in front of their business didn't know there was an 87, 78, whatever charge. Let's collaborate and grow, not play favorites or pit merchants against each other. And I'm also looking very much forward to your feedback next month. Thank you all.
Thank you, Ms. Crank. Ms. Worthy.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I am a business from college degree from Dayton. I would like to thank the town staff for all the hard work that goes into this event. I know it's a very long day for everyone. I was disappointed this year to see a vendor set up in front of my business. That hasn't been an issue since my soft opening in 2013. It has been my understanding that businesses on the festival route have clear visibility on the street that day. I would also like to apologize again to Ms. Roach because I was upset at 6:30 in the morning about this matter. There should be oversight with every event for the town manager that these types of happenings do not occur. The town manager's response to me that morning was, "Let's try harder next year." I'm sorry, as she walked away during that conversation. I didn't think it was personal. September 21, I received a visit at my shop from VDOT. Mr. Griffith told me that the cottage and the rustic oracle sign that was located on 42 across from Grammy on private property since 2014 was not up to code with VDOT. However, if the sign was cut down to size, for the sign to be done. He also informed me that the town would not allow the sign back up per the town ordinance. It has been 13 months and Valley Structure is still promoting their business on 42. And they are located 5 miles outside of the town of Dayton. The town ordinance allows business signage on premises and on premises only. So why have I been singled out? I have contacted legal counsel. What we feel is bullying with town businesses. Councilwoman Estes was reprimanded 15 months ago for her outbursts during council meetings. It's been my understanding that the Mayor Jackson was reprimanded for his actions on Zoom meeting during prayer. My question is, what is the reprimand for the town manager? Is there a policy in place? Do you have anything for her actions? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Worthy. Ms. Swecker.
With everybody else. Well, thank you for listening to me. I'm not here because I feel there's been enough of this nonsense for a small town. I would like to know why it is that the commission to upset all the business owners all the time, particularly on day to day. When we used to look forward to it, now we're regretting it. What's happening now? Close down Main Street and our business for a day. And we have to do something for more revenue. So what's the problem that we want to do? I also wanted to ask why Angela felt the need to talk to everyone and walk by, may not even talk to me, to take a picture of my business. And my fancy sitting up out in my courtyard with me selling my gifts at person and my business. I feel offended, sit there and watch her go talk to everyone else and then walk by and ignore just another business owner. On Friday, I gave my water to the client for the portable sink, just to be nice and not even thinking anything about it. I'm just trying to help out. And it's supposed to be fun. And now I didn't have so much time to invest. I am just trying to help out with something that is supposed to be fun. And now, if I didn't have so much invested in my business, I would leave and go to Bridgewater. I am not happy during Dayton at all. I have been nice to her. I've been mean to her, meeting with her, talking with her, and nothing seems to work. I feel targeted like so many other business owners and residents. I've had enough of trying to please the town, and you should be trying to help us instead of always looking for a new rule of some sort. I believe we need rules, yes, but we're a small town and we love to stay friendly, and I'm here to ask a question about the bullying. Yes, it is bullying. Everyone, I would love to know how many petty policies that have been put into place since 2018, and in this scheme of things, what is your vision for the town to help us? This is petty and has got to be handled in some way. I believe I'm speaking for many more people here and that are here for support tonight, and I do pray and hope that everyone will come back together next council. And I would like to, if everyone was happy on day to day, I don't think the business ownership was, and I don't think that really matters anymore. And everybody is always complaining that nobody ever listens, and again, nobody ever listens, and it won't change again today, but I'm here to say I'm sick and tired of it, and I'm done with trying to help anybody, or we do a lot for the town, but nobody tries to help us. And I don't have anything, because I don't feel anything else will be done either.
Thank you, Ms. Swecker. And Mr. Kenny's gonna give his time to, I guess,
And the husband was Jeannie, who runs Manny's Nook. I would like to address a comment that was made in a weekly submission to the town, from the town manager to the council on April the 25th, following red bill. It states in quotes, unfortunately, one business chose to close, not to be open during the festival day. Is that Annie's Nook? This is in reference to my wife's shop. Jeannie sent an email to Megan on April the 22nd, explaining the situation. It is in Jeannie's paper, and I'd like to read it right now. Hey Maggie. I've been sick. This is not this week and did not open my shop Thursday or Friday. I won't be there tomorrow because my husband has just positive COVID and strep throat. I sold one dog. I have 3 left. Pick up. My consignor, who's an extension of my shop, will be there if someone can stop by. If you have any questions, please let me know. Jeannie is the sole proprietor of that shop. She doesn't have employees. She can run a shop. I have a COVID and without the manpower, we could not open the shop. Matter of fact, she closed it for several weeks. However, the partner was willing to help out and open to the best of the ability. If anyone needed anything inside, she could let them in. I want to thank the person who inquired from the town manager referring to her business. And if it was Danny, she inquired to the town manager about business. And she said if it was Danny's Nook, that she had been sick for over 2 weeks and hadn't opened her shop because she doesn't have workers to open it. To the town manager in response, Maggie heard from her before the event, and she had someone in her front yard, but she never mentioned she wouldn't be open. The town knew the reason for her shop being closed. Why wouldn't the town representative represent her shop fairly? I am curious about this situation. Bradford, I saw you yesterday or Saturday. I felt as though you were avoiding us. Susan, thank you for your positive comments. I love how you represent the council. Thank you. I know, you're good. Thank you.
and Sam Lee.
Sister. My name, good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. Statement, but I did add my name to the comments, and I don't know whether to stand this way or this way. So I'll stand this way just for now. First and foremost, on behalf of the business that I helped my wife with, Fab Refurbs downtown, Dayton, next to the post office at 250 Main Street. We are extremely grateful, first of all, to be in a town that has an event such as ours. It certainly can't go without problems, challenges, and struggles to keep it going. I don't know how many vendors we had. Somebody call out a number to me if they can, but I'm sure it was a lot of vendors, even though it got called off. But we are extremely grateful to be in a town that can have an event like that. And I don't know about everybody else, but it seemed to have been extremely successful. We had a great weekend. We had a lot of fun. I only have two comments. I'll be very, very extremely brief. One, if any business wants to contact us to share ideas or even problems, I can't promise to fix anything or correct anything. But I know one thing, it starts with the conversation. And we have challenges and problems, and just like everybody else also. And we've been upset about some processes and the way things go too. But we try very hard to comply and to do what we need to do. Is it perfect? No. Do we do everything right? Absolutely not. Will we try to do better? Yes, we're fairly new at this, so I don't mean to dismiss the concerns that the other businesses have. I'm sure they are valid. I'm sure they are worthy of consideration for everybody to try to help out and do better. Number one, we're very grateful and thankful to have a business in a town like this, and if any business or resident wants to contact us, and if anybody has seen our business, they know a lot of times I sit outside on the bench outside the our business. They're more than welcome to come down, share some things and do that. The only comment I would have to fellow business and residents is during business hours, while business is going on, it may not be the best time to come in business and say, this is what you ought to do, this is what you ought to have, and this is what you ought to do. We're doing business right at the same time. Good business, fun business, and we're doing that. So again, I don't have the answers for everybody, and we're a little bit new to this. Maybe some businesses with some more experience could come and see us, talk to us. But if anybody wants to come and reach out to us, I'd be glad to have a cup of coffee with them and
45 seconds.
and fight for them, with them, or whatever we need to do. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everybody, for your comments. We appreciate it. And we move on to staff reports. Start with Ms. Lawrence.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. My report starts on page 8. Wanted to start by congratulating Susan Smith, our treasurer. She has successfully completed the Virginia Governmental Finance Officer Association certification program. This was something she was encouraged to do, heavily encouraged to do when she became treasurer, and she has completed all those classes. They are through Radford and the association. It hasn't been easy, but we applaud her and thank her for that. The water plant upgrade, as you know, the construction is on schedule and going great. Krista. Show you the picture. All of the equipment was delivered yesterday and today. Some of it is being stored inside in the locked location. Some is able to be some of it is able to be stored outside and is. The building is primarily done except for the block that we talked about. The concrete's been poured in there, and they're gonna, you can see the tanks where they, I think I mentioned in my staff report last week to council, they had to dig out a lot of rock, but those are the where the tanks are going up front, those white ones. So we're on schedule, we're doing well. We do have a few change orders. Some of the change orders I told you about last month have gone down and some are new. So just wanted to make sure council knows it's still all within budget. The change order number 1 was I think I told you last month was 19,000 something. It's now 18,054. We negotiated down. That is because the pipe was much, much deeper than would be typical for a contractor to assume in their cost. Change order 2 is 24,340.46. That was the depth of the water line. It's what, oh, I'm sorry, the first one was the block change that's not up on the building yet. The second was the depth of the water line. The third is 36,988, and that's because, as I mentioned before, the plans that were done back when the last plant was built did not have the water lines marked on the drawings correctly. So they had to be moved, which meant that the vaults that we had ordered had to be moved and changed, and the system changed a little bit. All of that has been discussed with the infrastructure committee. Like I say, we're still in budget, but I wanted to make you aware of that. And we're still meeting on a monthly, well, staff is supervising the project every day, but we meet formally with the engineer and contractor on a monthly basis. The engineer we met with them last week. He'll be back up tomorrow to look at all the stuff that was delivered, or maybe he was here today. So that's it. I did want to update on the capital improvements, the grants for the service truck for public works and for the police vehicle. I think I told you last month or in a staff report that there was some federal money in their fiscal year ends September 30th. And they thought there would be money. There's not money available. So we've changed our grant a little bit. They'll give up to $50,000, but we're at the top of the line, but it won't be decided until December 1st. So to be a little hold on that, in all probability, we don't find out until December or January. We probably won't be able to get those vehicles during this fiscal year because police vehicles are back ordered. As are some, as you know, it's difficult to find vehicles. So I will keep you updated. Those capital funds roll over every year in the CIP, as you know. And then the item for discussion that I have is that VML, I went to the VML conference last week, and when we checked in, they handed us this brochure and these stickers. It's called Civility, Respect, and Solutions. We don't have the same problems that some of the school boards and stuff do, but they're asking localities. They have a sample pledge here, which is exactly what you have in your packet. They're asking localities to sign or adopt a civility pledge. So ours says, it's on page 10. Do you want me to read it or do you want? It's on page 10.
I think you agree.
Again, it's out of here. We just added our name. The town of Dayton pledges to practice and promote civility within governing body. The elected officials of the town of Dayton enact the civility pledge to build a stronger and more prosperous community by advocating for civil engagement, respecting others and their viewpoints, and finding solutions for the betterment of the community. This pledge ensures that all communication, both spoken and written, to be open, honest, and transparent, and is vital for cultivating trust and relationships. This pledge ensures mutual respect, achieve municipal goals, recognizing that patience, tolerance, and civility are imperative to the success. This pledge creates opportunities for finding common ground and engaging in civil discussion to seek solutions through active listening and thoughtful participation. So I don't know if you guys are interested in adopting that civility pledge, or if you want to put it on hold or send it to the committee, but it came up at the conference. They also have stickers that they gave us, and I guess we could order more that just have a lot of little reminders. Be as eager to listen as you are to speak, concentrate on what you have in common, not what separates you, that kind of stuff. So if you guys want any of that, let me know. The VML conference is directed at both staff and elected officials. So I think that's why it came up at that, but I decided to forward it on to you. Any questions on that or any reaction?
It's fine, but we need to add that it's not just for us, it's for the town, it's for employees, it's for you, it's for everybody. It's not just for us. We are with our school and we have our ethics. I don't have a problem with it, but I do have a problem with the way it's worded. And it's not just the elected official we have for us, it needs to be for everybody. Because apparently tonight, there's an issue.
So we can do that, or we can do something separate, or we can sit on this and send it to committee to talk about. I just took it exactly how VML had it.
We can send it to committee.
Okay, what committee would you like to send it to?
personnel.
Okay, I did want to take just a few minutes and make some comments. I know I'm not gonna get too much into it. Thank you, Mr. Witt, for what you're doing in the community. I do want to sincerely apologize for the hard feelings. I know. People are very upset and I certainly didn't mean that at all. I have gone into Genie Shop numerous times. I do frequent it. I do know what products. Yes. We have talked numerous times and I know what is being sold in the shop. Excuse me, I think we were all respectful when other people were speaking and I would ask that you respect when I speak. Jeannie, I'm sorry you feel that way and I'm not gonna, like I say, I'm not gonna go back and forth, but because the media was invited by the group, I want to just make sure that people know where this came from. And I'm sorry that it upset the whole business community. I do apologize. I do know what's in the shop. We have had some concerns in the past that were brought to me by people who do check in, that people have not shown up with a postcard or a vendor thing and have said, oh, I'm vending over at her place. And that came to my attention from staff. So I sent an email that did start with, I hope all is well, and ended with, we appreciate your business and hope that you have a great day during Dayton Days Autumn Celebration. And if you have any questions, please let me and or Maggie know. So, and I didn't mean to bully anybody. I just wanted to be clear because normally what happens on Dayton Days is if there's a problem, we wait until after the event. When I first started here, the council member who was on the committee, who's in the audience tonight, Sarah, had brought up to me about the vendors, and Susie knows I went down and took her the agreement for the vendors, and so that everybody was clear and that we were all operating on the same page. And I believe Maggie, since we started the e-news for businesses, has included that information to everybody so that everybody knows what's allowed and not allowed. I apologize and I will talk to staff, did not know that there was a consignor relationship. So I just want to be fair on that too. And let you know, pardon me. I understand that there's some, like the children's books come from Ruth's shop and different things come. But, okay. Okay, so, and I've talked to you before about the Saturday stuff and you had a bakery out there one time and I understand that. I've talked to you a couple of times about what's allowed and not allowed in the town. Fab refurbs, I've done. I did. I've talked to you after the sidewalk. Okay. So please. Right. Can I just.
If
I
we
would
can let
just
Ms.
like-
Lawrence make her comments.
Can I continue my comments, please, without interruption? Well, I'm going to offer sincere apology anyway, and I did not read the email the same way you did. I read it as here's what's going to happen because I don't want to cause friction when we're in the festival. It's another reason that things didn't. I'm
Oh, to let her speak, Ms. Estes, please.
The email went to Jeannie, for that particular thing, because we had concerns about that. In the past, I've talked to Susie and we've gone around several times, not just Dayton Days, but others about vendors. Shoot, I've had the same conversation with Fab Refurbs when they first opened. I've had the same conversation with Fab Refurbs when they first opened. They didn't realize they had to have a business license, and each vendor there, which is different than a consignor, maybe, I don't know what your relationship is. Yes, every time they have a new vendor, they get a business license and come in because they don't have a single point of sale. And that's the point I was trying to make, and that I think Maggie had talked to you about before, is that it's single point of sale. So yes, Susie, you sell things in your store. We've talked about if you don't sell things in your store, you can't sell them. So I really did not mean to bully anybody. I was trying to send information out to let you know that we can't have extra vendors out there if they're not related to your store. I did encourage you to call if you had questions. I would have appreciated a phone call to say, I don't understand why I'm getting this, or this is not a problem for us. I'm so sorry, Jeannie. Okay, so you're not the only one. So example on Dayton Days itself, Ferb's grandchildren were selling chips and cokes, and I messaged Anita and said, please take your post down. You're not allowed to have a vendor outside unless it's something in your store. I knew that Angela had talked to Maggie the day before, and there was somebody else who wanted to sell something. So we were trying to be fair all the way around. So no, it's not the only business who's been contacted by me about that. I mean, where we hear things, as you know, 2 years ago after Dayton Days, we heard some comments about some other things down the street, and we've brought that up. So so there was never any ill content, and I had informed people what the issue was. The issue mainly was that, like I said, when they came through the vendor line last year, they said they didn't have a pass, that they were vending over there, and there were several vendors over there. Like I said, I just wanted to clarify. It was a clarification that you are the only one that can sell. It has to be a single point of service. I understood that they pointed that way, and you had a couple of people out there selling. Okay, all right. I understand that. So I can only apologize so many times. Staff brought it up to me. I know Maggie reached out to you last time, felt like maybe it wasn't taken care of, so I sent the email. We have talked. I'd like to put things in writing if I think there might be a problem. So let me continue on. I don't want to take the whole night up with this stuff. I'm gonna let the police chief address who went into the shop and why, because I never talked to the police about. Okay, I'm gonna let him address that, because the problem is, I think people make assumptions and have a negative attitude. I never once talked to the police chief about going into any shop. Right. Right. All right, so I'm gonna let the police chief comment on that. That was, I feel like I'm being targeted on things that just aren't true. So I want to clarify that I had nothing to do with that. I didn't hear him say anything if he came out of the shop. I don't know who.
All right, let's just go on to the Miss Smith, if we could have a treasury report, please.
I don't really have anything else to add other than the auditors were here on site. And we're anticipating a report to council on the annual audit at the November 14th regular council meeting. Everything seemed to go okay. They didn't yell at me.
I signed the final bill today.
Did you?
Any questions for Ms. Smith? Chief,
I didn't want to carry it today, but
Chief Trout for police.
I'll answer any questions that you have. The only thing I'll highlight is Coffee with a Cop. We had a Dayton Market. They asked us to come participate in that, so we did that. It was a good showing. And then also this past month, we were invited to go visit a preschool. So we went, hung out with the preschool kids and played with our equipment that they could play with. They got in the cars, asked us questions, the ones that could. So that was a fun event as well. So to address me going into your shop, I visit a lot of shops. It's part of my job is meet with the community. I've never been in your shop before. I've been by before, but it's been closed. On that same day, I saw Tara in the morning while she was bringing stuff out. I went and visited Fab Refurbs. I go into Jack's business all the time. Thomas House, I go visit them. So I visit businesses throughout the day, all the time. I met with the vendors that day as well. I stopped by, asked how they were doing, things like that. It's just me getting to know them. So, and I host a lot of events, Coffee with a Cop, I do Cones with a Cop for kids. I do Chiefs Town Hall meetings twice a year in this room. And if you want to participate in the things that occur in the town, I give everybody a platform to come in and ask what the police is doing, what we're doing to help the community, what we're doing to help the town. So to make a change, you got to participate within the town. I give plenty of opportunity. You can laugh all you want. Okay. No, it's the woman next to you who's being disrespectful. All right. I'm not going to argue with you. That's enough. I walked in, I introduced myself to her. I asked her how the day was going. That was it. Not I'm scoping things out. Do not ever call me unethical. I'm telling you that right now. I've been doing this over 17 years. And I'm in this position because of how hard I have worked. Okay? Don't call me unethical.
Thank you, Chief.
I'll tell you now.
Thank you, Chief.
I don't tolerate it. Thank you.
All right, you want to go to the water plant, water report?
Yes, please.
All right, the water report is on page 15.
Well, Public Works first.
I'm sorry, Public Works, sorry. Public Works is on page 14. They've been, as you know, extremely busy. They have reached out for support from other organizations. So we had some fraternity house help Thursday and Friday before Dayton days. We're still using community service, although they have not been available in October. They have prior commitments for the whole month. I do want to say that back in September, he was receiving quotes to replace the heat pump in council chambers that we talked about using contingency funds for last month. We did find a less expensive option, and so that's been approved and will be installed at some point. Are there any questions on the Public Works? I mean, I know there's still some signs on 42. There's some other things that need to be cleaned up. We're gonna street sweep on Thursday. I know it's a hassle when people are having breakfast. We would sweep on Monday if we could, but that's when they pick up large yard waste and they can't do it. So Thursday will be when they'll street sweep downtown, I think only. No, it's a whole town. Whole town on Thursday to make up for the holiday. It's normally. No, I meant by,
I
I'm
don't know
sorry,
waste.
I meant yard waste. I'm sorry. Yard waste is on Mondays, which is why we can't street sweep monthly on Mondays. Sorry. I do want to. Oh, are we on the water report now? Any questions on Public Works? Sorry. Water report, I just want to highlight, I've already talked about the water plant. They do a great job. We purchased no water from Rockingham County last month again. As I said before, we will have to purchase when they transition the equipment, but only for the first day probably. Want to highlight that the water department staff, one of their other duties as assigned is the, as you know, landscaping, watering, planting mums and decorating for fall. They decorated right before the hurricane winds came in. So the corn stalks don't look great and they'll probably be all picked up tomorrow. But I think the other decorations look great. If you haven't been down to Dove Park, they look great again. That's something that the treasurer used to do on with Public Works and now it's been turned over. So again, that along with the events and stuff we try to make a good gateway and make people enjoy their town. We have gotten a lot of really positive comments and likes for that. The item for consideration is not for council. I have approved. We talked about the VFD a couple months ago. She just needed approval from me to go ahead and take the bid. She got another bid also that was less expensive than I told you last month. So we have accepted that and I signed that and it went a couple of weeks ago. For the VFD, that's a variable rate flow or variable flow meter of some sort. Frequency drive. Thank you, Doctor. That's the one you guys talked about already and that we said we would use. The cost of the VFD was about 9,000. The installation was more. You guys approved last month using contingency. Okay, sorry. Any questions on the water report?
Ms. Hall for community development.
All right, thank you all. Yay. I'll be glad that we're back to a full BPA now. And then also just to bring your all attention, received just yesterday a zoning request that's going to be coming through for the land on Mason Street. That's been with the people out there a long time. Current zoning is R1. They are mostly going to R1 being single family house. The proposal is to mostly do single family housing there. However, they are going to be asking for a rezoning 3.19 acres from R1 to R2 to allow for 8 duplex dwellings, which would be 15 units. I will be taking this to planning commission. In the hopes that they will set it for a public hearing at the November meeting. We will only do a joint public hearing with the town council and planning commission. Such a big project. We want to have 2 separate public hearings, one with planning commission, and then we'll have another one if they recommend it. We may come back to you all with the public hearing. Join on separate. So just wanted to give you all a heads up that that is going to be coming down on the pipe. That's all I have.
Thank you, Ms. Hall. Ms. Lawrence for economic development.
Economic development report is on page 17 and 18. Just highlight a few things and then share something. The last 3 bullets on events, we will have a bonfire and weenie roast on October 22nd. We had advertised it over at Sunset Park and we're just going to do a small fire pit so that people could get closer to the fire. But they have plenty of wood stacked up, ready to burn at Parkview. So we're going to move it back over there, which is what we did before COVID when we had that event. So we're going to change that over there. It'll be a big bonfire. We'll still have a small fire pit so that kids don't have to get so close to a big, huge hot fire. Turner Ashby, as you probably saw on Facebook, with several different businesses, held their day of service, and we had about 40 that helped with landscape, decorating, cleaning up things, folding our newsletters, and such. They also went to Sadie Rose and Silver Lake here in town, and you probably saw they were in Bridgewater as well. The Christmas parade has also been moved. As I mentioned last month, there's no TA marching band could not perform on the week that we had it, on the day we had it scheduled. So it's now moving to a Friday night, December 9th at 6 o'clock, and that will be followed by the tree lighting ceremony at Dove Park. Wanted to let you know that Chris, the intern from JMU, is finished with the inventory. All of that was submitted to DHCD with the first phase of the grant in terms of the first steps that we had to meet. We will start meeting with the project team again once we hear from DHCD that we have the okay to continue the project. Did want to share with you that I went into a business. I took Maggie into a business, not a business that we frequently visit, and talked to the owner there, and he did, without knowing who Maggie was or that she was on the side of sending out the e-news for businesses. He did say that in the past 2 years, things have gotten much better in terms of communication. Maggie does that monthly e-news now that we started about 2 years ago, well, when she started, and we provide the resources and things. And who's not, you got it, you guys. I checked with you before and you received it. I'll check. It's going to the Thomas House email. Because I checked with Jack one time and asked, and he said, you guys get it. I'll show it to you. I'll show you. If it's not coming through, it might be in your spam box and you just need to clear it. And if you have a different email now, but yeah, there was something I know about a year ago. I asked you if you had seen and you said yes. So at any rate, yes, if you're not receiving that, Maggie in her report has how many people click on it, and not everybody clicks on it. Sometimes when you do an email like that, I think it's through MailChimp, they go to spam unless you tell it to accept it. Does that come from events? Does that come from events or town of Dayton? I can find out for you. Are you not getting it either, Angel? Everybody who has a business license is on the email list. She's asking about the one that, does it say Dayton, Virginia? Oh, well, those are the, no, those are the
It's coming
announcements. The
from.
website. I think it comes, did you find it? Okay, it comes from events, yeah. So yeah, but it comes out, it used to come out on the first day of the month, but we found that Small Business Development Center was sending their classes and stuff out like the second or third day of the month. So now it comes the first week of the month, and we try to include any of the classes that Small Business Development is doing. Anyway, he just complimented us on better communication and better things. So there's a little bit of positive and the other things. So I think Maggie and Leah did an outstanding job. Leah knows every single vendor and everything about them and all of that. I know we had a delay in the traffic patterns. We normally have people, we assign different times for people to come, and they don't always come at the time they're supposed to come. So there was a backup at one point. So there's that. What else? Anyway, we did put out some signs too. I talked to, so the new business, we do have a new business in town. And did a ribbon cutting there Friday. I did talk to that owner this over the weekend, and she said that they stayed open till 4 on Saturday and had business. We have added some new signs at the Dayton Market. I don't know if they did any good, that say no event parking, and we added them down at Grammy's and where the new restaurant is, and some of those places, so that people can keep their shopping centers, their parking lots open for the regular customers, and that people shuttle. I did see plenty of people walking down 42 to pick up lunch. So I know there were still people parking there, but hopefully they shopped at the same time. So anyway, if there's anything really that we can improve, shoot Maggie or me a note. We do an internal staff evaluation, and then we do with the council committee, as the mayor mentioned. We're willing to sit and talk with anybody and make improvements. I know there was some question about the nonprofit rate that had to be charged. It's just an area where if we keep making exceptions, then we get into people complaining. So at any rate, thank she wants. So in terms of your customers, we did, because people were saying they were coming in, and then it was their understanding, the way I heard it, that people weren't coming in, taking their passes and going back out to the car. So the police, I believe, were supposed to just let anybody who said they were coming to Thomas House go down there. Parking may have gotten full pretty quick when we do that. So if you want to go back to the parking pass, we can, but that means we have to take their word for it anyway. They go in, come back out to their car. We had heard that was a hassle. Yeah. We can. So for the people that we know about that we've done in the past or have been, if you need one, let me know. If you have somewhere to park behind your building or something, we don't do those. Oh, they did?
And it said staff.
So we can, again, make a sign that says no event parking, or we can give you guys parking. So what we do, like the Dayton Tavern they can't park in Fuzzy Duck, obviously. So Nadia, we put up a no event parking sign and let any staff from downtown shops that ask get a parking pass to shop there. Oh, no. On the street? I don't know why they did that. Oh, was it where the porta potties were going? Anyway, give me a shout. Yeah. From the. Okay. From the porta potties, is that where they were coming from? Okay,
Was it like, was it something that hand wrote staff on a parking pass or?
so I think you guys got tags for your staff, right? But they were handwritten, I thought. Well, I saw them down on Maggie's desk, so I'll find out what happens now, because everybody that has staff was supposed to get their staff parking in Park County Nadia's or somewhere else, or your parking. So, okay. No, they're not. So like I said, we bought some new signage and we tried to help businesses out. I mean, only as much as we can. We only had so many officers. Okay. All right, and we will contact you about that. And try to put up signs or whatever we can. Not that, I mean, people parked illegally all over town and we didn't want to, I mean, there were people parked at yellow curbs on a curb at an intersection, and we don't want to tow people who are in town, but yeah, we'll get you. Yeah. Okay, yep, we'll reach out to you before the next event and make sure, and I'm sorry, Jack, I don't know why. What's that? Okay, thank you. Sorry to take up time when you want to adjourn.
All right, and Mr. Bowman is unable to be with us tonight, so Ms. Brooke Hannah has stepped in. So do you have anything?
I do not.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
All right, we have committee reports, so we'll start off with Mr. Dijak.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Mayor and.
Good to
Council.
see you, good man.
Yes, thanks for allowing me in. Appreciate that the police let me in a little tardy there, and I do apologize for that. It was at a meeting that was pre-scheduled and running late, so trekking across here to make it. But I do want to I want to make sure get those who spoke before I was able to enter. I did hear. I came in for Jeannie's testimony, and I do want to make sure I get all that on record. So I'll be happy to take that into consideration. I do want to just say, we hadn't met since August. Certainly Dayton Days. I do want to say, look, I think, all things considered, it was an event that I think, we should all, hang our hats on and thank staff and community and business owners, vendors, everyone alike really came together, rallied around and made it a tremendous event that I think we can all be proud of their understanding that there's always time for reflection and tweaking and making adjustments. And I think that's pretty clear. We'll certainly take that under consideration because, like I said, this is, it's a town event. We've got to band together and make that work. But credit to everyone for being flexible, making, from what our normal first Saturday and being able in a week's time to pivot, scramble and try to get all the logistics in place. I know the vendors and patrons were thrilled. And again, it's just, it helps our town shine. That being said, I know that we've talked about that. Ms. Lawrence has mentioned about an internal staff review. Some of the comments we've had here, I've been taking notes and certainly will, Ms. Mathias and I will be scheduling a economic development committee meeting in the future to review and certainly welcome any additional feedback and logistics. And just note that, I think we can work hand in hand together. I think, staff, council, vendors, businesses, I think we all have the town's interest at heart. We all want to make this place thrive. And I think that's evident too. We talked about the downtown revitalization grant. I think that's another opportunity for us to pivot and bring everyone together. But nevertheless, 8 days, it is a great time to take stock of what makes this town really special and unique. And I'll say it again. I've always said that and proud to call home. So let's work together and I'll offer that. We'll try to work through some of these issues here and bring together that. On the other note, I just echo Mr. Lawrence mentioned about ribbon cutting. Do want to just congratulate Harvest Table on opening. And I'm looking forward to their continued success here. Like I said, stop on by if you haven't already. Finally, and again, thank you for all Best of the Valley winners. And I just figured we have to highlight that too. We had a number of great, since we've got the crowd here tonight, fantastic showing on the Best of the Valley finalists, winners. I think we should all take pride in that too. I mean, that's a collective effort here that puts our town on the map. It's something to be proud of. Finally, speaking of things to be proud of, on October 28th, don't forget the Silver Lake Mill celebrates its official bicentennial on the 28th with festivities at the mill. I know there's been year-round events, but this will be kind of the culmination here. And then, of course, we got the Luminaria to look forward to in our Christmas time celebration. So what is that? 6, 7? I have to double check. I think Maggie will send that out too. I think it was in the business newsletter here. I got to get the time right here, or else Cheryl will put me on the watch list here. So, but I know that but Friday the 28th, and then also be on the lookout. They are doing pre-order sales for their bicentennial book.
6:30.
6:30. Thank you. I had council time on my mind. So there you go. Friday the 28th, 6:30 at the mill. So very good.
And finance.
Finance, that one, we, I think, Ms. Lawrence and Ms.
She
Smith
hit most of
covered,
it.
yeah, I was gonna say hit most, we covered, did our quarterly financial review, talked about where we're at. I think we're in good shape here. We had those change orders we covered with the water treatment plant and some of the other budget items here, but very good shape. Thank you to our team here, and I know we've got, I thank you, Ms. Smith, for congratulations again on your certification. And for you and Ms. Lawrence going through our audit process, and looking forward to a clean bill of health presented next month.
Thanks, sir. Mr. Seward for infrastructure.
We did not meet.
And Parks, Recreation, and Beautification. Thank you. Ms. Matthias for personnel. Thank you. And Ms. Hoover for Police Committee.
We did not meet this month, so nothing to report.
Thank you, Ms. Hoover. Hope you're feeling better. All right, so we had a lot said this evening, and again, these events are put on to bring the community together. Never has staff or council or anybody else said, "Hey, let's put together an event and try to make the businesses mad." That's never the intent. We appreciate everybody's comments tonight. We'll take them back to committee. We'll discuss them, and we'll go from there. But I do want to thank everybody. I've said this before, I wish we would have this many people at every council meeting. I wish people would come out and get involved, other than just coming out and screaming and hollering. I mean, it really is nice to have a meeting where we do have, people understanding and participating in the local government. So thank you for coming out this evening, and hopefully we'll see you in the future. And they also stole my thunder, Susan, but congratulations again. I know it's a lot of work and getting that done. So congratulations. And I know that you're happy to have all those tests over. Any other council members with comments? Yes, ma'am.
And it'll be a,
You know, let them know what Sherm is. Shenandoah Human Resource. Thank you very much.
I want to say something that just to y'all business owners, the comment that you made that we get stuff discussed back in the committees and stuff, that means I won't be included in it, so I won't know anything, so don't hold it against me, because I'll be sent as always. This should be a closed, meeting call to discuss that instead of privately in the committee, because we're all included. And so don't get mad at me, Jeannie and everybody, because I do care about y'all and I want the best for y'all. I want everybody to get along, everybody to prosper, but I'll be excluded from y'all as always. So I just wanted to let you know. Don't hold it against me because I won't know anything until y'all, like, till the month that we re-talk about it. So I won't know.
So we have no unfinished business. Do we have any new business this evening? All right, need a motion to adjourn. Ms. Estes, do I have a second? Thank you, Mr. Pius. All in favor?
All right.
Meeting adjourned. You need something signed? How are you?
Yeah, so. Yeah, no,
I guess 15 months after I said two customers.